The San Francisco 49ers are 9-4 with their bye week, a much-needed bye week. And as Brandon Aiyuk played his last down as a San Francisco 49er, Steph Sanchez and I will talk about that and more right after this. I'm Jason Aponte. That's Steph Sanchez. This is the Bully Ball Podcast on the Gold Standard Podcast Network, the only 49ers podcast that has now gotten a win in Cleveland finally. Steph, 41 years, get that out of the way. Jim Schwartz, get that out of the way. Brock Purdy and cold weather, get that out of the way. But first, how are you?
I'm great. I had a good Thanksgiving. Did you too? I mean, what was on the menu for you?
Hate watch. So successful hate watch of the Chiefs and successful hate watch of the Eagles on Friday. Even though technically we should have been rooting for the Eagles to win, to beat the Chicago Bears, still, nothing makes my heart smile more than piling on Jalen Hurts and the fact that he's not a functioning quarterback.
And also the Chiefs and Cowboys game was a tough one to root for too, for obvious reasons. But
yeah, I mean, I think
which is why it's called hate watch. It's like no matter what,
right? Like either way, we're up, right? Like, and if the Cowboys win, they're they have like the most outside chance of making the playoffs. But the Cowboys knocking the Chiefs out, I think that was more appreciative right there. And by the way, shout out to George Pickens, who has pushed me into round 3 of the Scott Fish Bowl tournament. I have never gotten this far. This team has gone from rags to riches. And by the way, shout out to old man Zach Ertz, 50 burr on Sunday Night Football to send me to the next round. And if you're looking, Steph, Scott Fish Bowl has some very weird scoring. Tight ends is 2.5 per catch. That's why. So he had 10 catches. He had 150 yards. 50 burger is what that gets. Put me over by 2 points. I am moving on in a tournament of really, really good fantasy people.
Nice.
Yeah, but fantasy football overall is bad, though. Keep going. You got it.
It is, right? Like, and
yeah.
I'm not just saying that because I've been losing, but I kind of am because I'm a little salty about it. And in our league, I'm down horrendously. I don't know what's going on. I probably have too many Eagles players. It's probably like my first mistake right there. I have Jalen Hurts and Barkley, as I've mentioned in the past. So I don't know if I'm even going to make that. Oh, come on.
No, I hear you. Listen,
I don't know if I'll make the playoffs, but we'll see.
I'm done, I think, with fantasy football. Look at this team that I drafted is literally the second highest scoring team in the league. And they have the most points by 300 points against them. And it's a team that has Trey McBride, Justin Jefferson, Rome Odunze. This team was killing it for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, completely falls off the face of the map. And I'm not going to make the playoffs. So screw fantasy football, but don't screw the fantasy football app. We love Sleeper. And that's what we're going to talk about right here as well, too, guys. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to win 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. And for a limited time only, new users will get a free $20 entry. And don't forget, if you use our promo code GSP, you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Steph, you and I are, I would like to say at the forefront of 49ers drip for podcasters, right? Like,
So.
I'd say so, right? Like, I think, when we put that shit on, we put it on, right? Like, I think we know how to put these things together, right? So I have a question for you. Is there 49ers gear that you can no longer use now because either the player has departed or fallen out of favor? And this is stuff you spent money on. So it's very hard for you to pick and choose who to spend money on, not knowing what's in the future.
Absolutely there is, because I'm a fan of the 49ers and things like this just seem to happen all the time. So I used to have a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey. Of course, like I got that jersey after he signed his extension. So you always think like, okay, we're safe. I had a Debo jersey. By the way, the Jimmy Garoppolo jersey I was able to, get rid of, thankfully.
How do you get rid of it? What did you just throw it out?
I sold it online.
So someone was in the market for it. Oh wow.
Well,
All
you know
right.
what? I think I saw the writing on the wall and I got rid of it before he actually left the team. So
Mhm.
it was a good time. That time I played it smart. But I also have a Debo jersey. And Debo is like that one's a tough one. It's like I don't know if I could wear it like maybe in several years from now because I feel like Debo still has
Throwback.
a lot of lore. Yeah, like Debo still has a lot of lore and positive lore with the 49ers that one's probably still acceptable. But currently I don't wear it just because, now right now he's playing with maybe when he retires, I can still rock that one.
Yeah,
But yeah.
like I have a Dion one and I have a Bowman one. Those guys played for other people as well too. I think you can look at it like that. I'd hold on to it.
Yeah, but those are like so does it matter to you like how good the player was? Like I don't know if Debo's on the level of the guys you just mentioned. So actually I know for a fact he wasn't as good as he was like it but that's a good side discussion too.
I have a Jerick McKinnon jersey, so I don't know what but all right. So I guess my quick story is before I got into content creation, I was a DM for Lids, and it was a perfect job for me. Meaning, I just drove around, high energy, got to talk sports, got to put good outfits on, wear hats and everything. But if you've ever been to Lids, then you know that they are always trying to impress upon you. Hey, do you want to get that autograph engraved of your favorite player on your hat? And that's where the football knowledge comes in, right? So for me, I have every single 49ers hat under the sun because of my discount. And right after the Super Bowl, I'm like, well, who's a player that I can get, an autograph of? Because as an employee, you're required to show it off and kind of sell it.
Mhm.
Well, who's a player that's going to be around for a long time that you can put on a hat? Have this beautiful 49ers hat, and you know who I think? I'm like, who'll never get traded? 99, DeForest Buckner. Sure enough, 2 months later, he gets traded, and it just goes to show
2
you that,
months
that you
later
don't
is
know
crazy.
shit. Yeah, the reason we're bringing this up is because Brandon Aiyuk certainly has played his last down as a San Francisco 49er. And if you have a Brandon Aiyuk jersey, I'm sorry. John Lynch goes on KMBR today. This is the most blunt I've ever heard. So, you know what's funny? It took this report to come out for them to start
Mhm.
speaking very frankly now. It took this report that leaked for them to start telling the truth. And now, John Lynch is being so blunt that there is no writing on the wall, there's no tea leaves. He's not playing for the 49ers ever again. And Rob's got the clips. Play the first clip, Rob.
I don't necessarily know that the reporting was an inflection point, but I think the entire time it hadn't been great, and so you do your best to rectify those things, and then everyone's got to be professionals and conduct themselves in that manner, and so that's how we treat all our players, and we have great relationships with our players. We've had a great relationship with Brandon, and we look forward to that continuing.
Well, all right. So you're lying about the last part. That's fine. So maybe they're not being the entire truth, but it hasn't been great. Steph is something that John Lynch said. What do you think about that first comment?
That's an understatement. Like, are you kidding me? That's been the biggest understatement of all, like, throughout this whole process, starting from when they started negotiations to even now, and us thinking that maybe after this contract was signed, that things were just going to go back to normal. But I think there were writings on the wall, and Jay, I think you were definitely hitting the nail on the head a little bit more than maybe I was, because I was trying to be optimistic and just trying to see the positive in things. The positive that the 49ers are still trying to spin, right? Using the word hopeful, giving us the PR slop. But yeah, I mean, you could see it, right? Like Kyle Shanahan getting in Brandon Ayuk's face about the shorts, the fact that he goes, we haven't seen him this season yet, and we see him on the field, and then we don't see him for weeks after that. In fact, I almost feel like we got to apologize to Jennifer Lee Chan
Yeah.
because she put out that story, and then it kind of was like, oh no, he's been out there, everything is fine. What are you guys talking about? And then now, months later, she's way ahead of the curve, I guess. But I think some people could kind of sense that there was just something not right about the situation, and something still doesn't feel right. Like even John Lynch talking about it right then, right? Like we're the fact that we're not getting Brandon Ayuk side, and maybe we have in bits and pieces and very what's the word, like vague and cryptic, like
On his YouTube page.
Yeah, just very cryptic messages like that or comments. But I just feel like if we, yeah, like this one
I,
right here.
I need my
Rob,
chicken
did
before I
you?
even think about a walkthrough.
Okay, that's what it meant. So this
So
is a
like
comment from his YouTube.
so that portion of it, right? Like you can, Steph, I speak fluent, hip hop. That could be, construed as, a walkthrough for, a hip hop artist is like you get 25 recs to come through, party. You might stand on stage while they play your music, so like maybe that's a rap lyric, right? But the fact that you're throwing it out there, it just means that like everybody's going to take it as football. But there's some other ones that have been there on the YouTube as well too, Rob. If you want to put them up, that I think they're directly about football. They was
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
very clear.
they was talking about trading me while I was off Percocets and muscle relaxers and peeing in a cup by my bed. Couldn't walk for 10 weeks. Ain't nobody trading for me. Like the only reason this isn't seen more is because it wasn't on Instagram or Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
who the hell's posting this stuff on their YouTube? We run YouTube channels. Do you post rap lyrics on your YouTube channel on your post? No. We'll let you know. Hey, we got a show coming up this day. Do you want to see this? What are your thoughts? Not, hey, this is what's going on with the 49ers stuff. The answers were all there. We just looked in the wrong places.
I just want to know why he felt this way or why the 49ers felt this way. Because if it's true that they were trying to trade him immediately after this contract was signed, like that's shady on the 49ers part.
It's dumb.
Why? It's dumb. Like, why even have him sign the contract to begin with? And then, they have to lay in the bed that they made. And unfortunately, that's after the injury happened, and so they were screwed. But the damage was done already by the fact of Brandon Aiyuk catching wind of that, right? And obviously he felt a way about it. So it just goes to say that I think there's a lot of shady stuff for just things that were not cool, not smart, that rubbed both sides the wrong way. And I don't see this being a situation that can be rectified. One, because, I do feel like Brandon Aiyuk seems to be kind of headstrong. I mean, just seeing how the negotiations went down, right? I just think with all of that and now this, like, I just don't think anything's going to change at this point. So I think we've seen the last of Brandon Aiyuk on the field for the 49ers.
Yeah, I thought that for a while. His last down is going to be that knee injury against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the last memory we'll have of Brandon Aiyuk. Yeah, this whole thing has smelled funny the entire time. Again, maybe it's the New York in me, but the bullshit meter is just going off every single time they spoke about him. Nothing was lining up. And John Lynch kept talking. There's another clip right here, and I think this one is more damning. Go for it, Rob.
Realistic, I'm not sure. Hopeful, yeah. So I think that's kind of where I'd leave that. He continues to rehab, and hopefully that's, like I've always said, is we're a better football team when Brandon's out there, and I hope that's the case. But I think that's probably what it is hope right now, and I wish it were a little bit more than that.
So I think a lot of things in this statement are true. We're a better football team when Brandon's out there. I think that's the easiest thing to say is true. But I'd like to harken back to something that my father used to tell me back in the day. Wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one gets filled up faster. Hopeful, realistic, this is not happening. So when he says it's not realistic, I don't think so. Stop worrying about hope. And why would Brandon Aiyuk play after he's already voided his guarantees? Like, why on earth would he go out there? It doesn't matter. This is the end of this portion of the saga. We're never going to find out what really happened. But I don't have to hear anymore. Stop asking John about it. Stop asking Kyle about it. Don't ask Brandon about it because he's not going to be around. He's never going to play again, and why should he? He has no incentive to play. They're going to cut him, and he is a Washington Commander. And Dazo0187 with the donation. The disconnect seems to be that Kyle wanted BA and Parag front office didn't want to pay him, and the contract was paid begrudgingly. 100%. 100%. And it was Jed York looking at him like, I'm going to let you do this, even though we had a trade on the table, but you better bring me back a Super Bowl. Otherwise, I'm going to stop letting you do this, and you're not going to be able to have say on any of these things. And Godspeed to Ricky Pearsall. There is no way in hell you're getting a second contract with this team. Zero. And I feel so bad. Steph, what do you feel about this?
I mean, I agree on that last point. And, just to kind of go back on what John Lynch said in that last clip. I mean, really in that whole interview, like just his tone, you could say the word hopeful. You could say like all these things, but hearing his voice and his tone with it, like there is no hope. There is absolutely no hope. And to your point about, Brandon Aiyuk obviously not wanting to play, and as he shouldn't, I guess, not wanting to play without those guarantees, he has every right to feel that way. We would all agree with that as well. But that's the part that's crazy, to where I feel like some of the reports that have come out through like Glazer and just like everything else that has come out has kind of put it on Brandon Aiyuk that like the ball's in his court type of deal. But it's like, if you think about it from the guarantee standpoint, wouldn't you not play either? Like, and so that's why I don't like that they're putting it in that light. And again, like just the fact that Brandon Aiyuk already has like a really negative perception within this fan base, like at this point, just leave it alone. Like there's no reason for them to pile on it or, make it seem even worse than it is, because again, I feel like there's more to this story that would reflect poorly on the 49ers, but we just happen to not be getting that whole part of it.
Are you aware of the term, Steph, like functioning alcoholic?
Yeah.
Okay, so, for anybody that doesn't know, it's someone who drinks overly, but they get to work on time, they're able to work, and sometimes you can't even tell. The San Francisco 49ers are by far the most dysfunctional organization in the NFL. There I said it. I said it. If this situation was the New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns, the Dallas Cowboys, you'd say, ha, 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 what a bunch of idiots. Who could do that? You know who could do that? Your team can do that. The reason that nobody looks at the 49ers like that is because they make NFC championships somehow. They're very well coached. We know how. They win football games above it all. But this is the most dysfunctional organization in NFL history. I don't know how it happened. I don't know when it happened. But this is insane. And now Kyle Shanahan gets to talking at KNBR after John Lynch. Let's get to this one.
Oh, I'm definitely still hopeful. It's not counting on it. It's but I'm definitely still hoping that can happen.
Dude, they are tiptoeing completely around just saying, "Hey, man, it's over. It's Jover." I'm still hopeful. It's like they're sending olive branches to BA, hoping that he hears it. You know what? Those guys are so bad. I'll try and come back and help them win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Stop it. Just stop it, guys. What do you think, Steph?
Zero chance. And again, like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why everything they say just puts it back on Brandon Aiyuk, when really that's just not how I think this whole situation has worked. I think both sides have had some fault in the result of it. And for both Lynch and Shanahan saying essentially the same thing, I think, again, like I said, it's PR slop to me. And the 49ers, like you said, they're dysfunctional, functional franchise. I feel like they run this franchise like a government, like just so sketchy in the way that they move, and so secretive, doing things behind the scenes, always being in the news. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, you're just a football team, guys. Like I promise it's not that hard, or maybe it is, but it doesn't have to be this hard. I know that for sure.
Francisco Lopez says functional dysfunctional goes to the New York Jets. No, the New York Jets are just dysfunctional.
Dysfunctional.
They're just dysfunctional. What are they functioning? 2 wins? What are they functioning? Like, no, they're dysfunctional. The reason the 49ers are functional is because they win games. Is because they're 9-4 going into the bye with all these injuries, with everything going on, with a chance to still make the number 1 seed somehow. I mean, it's an outside chance, but it's still a chance. Dysfunctional is the New York Jets, is the Cleveland Browns, is the Las Vegas Raiders. Functional, dysfunctional is the San Francisco 49ers. Look, Godspeed, Brandon Aiyuk. Go enjoy your time in Washington. I'm done with it, though. Stop asking about it. It's not going to happen. Don't ask when the window's coming out, is going to be open. I know you want to click. I know you want, a video clip. Anybody that's going to go to the press conference and ask these questions, I know you want to get your think pieces off. The think piece is this, and it's going to be a few words. I don't even know how many words. He's never playing for the 49ers again. There's your think piece. That's it. The 49ers are 9-4 now, and they have a bye week. And they have to win games to get into the playoffs. That's all that matters. There is no shot that Brandon Aiyuk's going to play anymore, so I don't want to hear any more about it. Don't ask any more questions about it. Don't write any more think pieces about it. And if you're a fan that feels like he's pissed you off or whatever, I wouldn't take it too personally. He's not really doing it to you. It's not, I don't think that it's like that or whatever. Just, Godspeed wherever you go. Cool. That's it. Like I'm off that. The team is 9-4. The team has won 3 in a row. They have a stretch of games that are massively important for their playoff spots. That can determine whether they even make the playoffs, go on the road, who's their opponents. All of these things are still in front of us. We're talking about somebody who had played their last down. I thought at the time, after his knee blew out and in that Kansas City game. For what, man? And these are questions that we should just leave alone. And you know what you should be focused on? Brock gets another week to rest. Kittle gets another week to rest his hamstring. YGM might have a shot to come back. Like, these are the things that you really should be asking about this team. Instead, we're still talking about a guy that has been checked out of this team forever.
Good luck to him. Good luck to him.
Yeah, Godspeed, man. That's it, And look, enjoy your time in Washington because they're doing so well. All right, so Cleveland. It's over, Steph. The national nightmare is over. November 11th, 1984 was the last time the San Francisco 49ers had won a game in Cleveland. Now, that's not to say that they've lost 7 or 10 games. It was only 4 times since then, which is kind of weird when you think about the schedule that it's only been 4 times since
That's
84. Right. So once every 10 years, you get a shot to go over there and get it there. But hey, they got it done. The Jim Schwartz curse is lifted, so I don't want to hear about that anymore. And Brock Purdy in a weather game threw the football, and Steph, God forbid a white guy has a little motion, huh?
Well, okay, on the weather thing, it wasn't the type of weather that we've seen him struggle in. So
yeah,
I'm
it
not
wasn't
ready.
raining.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say like, oh, that absolves him of the narrative that he doesn't perform good in bad weather. The bad weather in question is rain. It's just wet conditions in general.
To be fair, if that dork kicker hits the kick in 2023, we wouldn't even be talking about that. But hey,
this is true.
Yeah, but keep going.
And you know what actually did remind me of that drive is the drive before halftime.
Yes.
Because that one, like, he was in total command, like just moving the team down the field, doing exactly what they needed to do to get in position. Shout out Kittle as well for getting his 33-yard catch there, contested. That's the type of Brock Purdy that you love to see. And yes, like, I know that it was really cold and I know that it was windy, but I have no doubt that Brock Purdy is okay in those conditions. He did play at Iowa State after all. So that's not the issue. I'm glad he was able to be unaffected by that, as it seemed like most of the team was as well. So it played well into the 49ers' hands, just how this game went down. And I think the big name of the game for the 49ers in this one was the field position advantage. That was everything. That put them out in front, and they pretty much never looked back at that point. And yeah, no interceptions for Brock. That's always a win. I was nervous,
and nothing
about
even
that,
close. Nothing even close to being an interception.
And that's what I appreciate most about the performance, because it felt like he kind of just went back to doing what he did in 2023. Like, just when we see that type of Brock, that's good Brock right there. That's good Brock, and that's the Brock that we need to see. Like, he doesn't need to feel like he needs to burn the world on fire and that he needs to be the hero. You got heroes around you, you know what I mean? Like, you just need to get the ball to them. And there's no shame in that. I'm like so far from feeling ashamed that my quarterback just needs to be the complimentary piece. Like, he already got his bag. Like, cool, man. There's nothing else that you need to prove. You just need to go out and do your job, get the ball out to your playmakers, help this team win games, and that's it. Like you don't need to prove anything else.
So this game is interesting because this was you saw three sides of Brock in this game, right? And I'll explain. You saw the game manager portion of it, which was just very under control, understanding, there's no knees in the road, like, to push it. We know what we're doing, right? Like, and the Cleveland Browns gave them opportunity after opportunity because they're horrible. You saw the mobility, which that's why Myles Garrett was so frustrated. Like, he's laughing, like, come on, dude. Like, you got the ball away. Like, I was right there, like, in front of you. So the mobility's going. Obviously the rushing touchdown helps. So you saw that aspect of the game. And then this game really turned, and the turning point of this game was that drive at the end of the second quarter. That's when the 49ers told themselves and let the Browns know, yeah, we are better than you. Yeah, we are gonna get you, and yeah, this game's over. Like, we're taking this over. So you have to throw. You have to throw to Pearsall outside the numbers, bang. You have the one to Jennings right after that, and then you have the one to Kittle, and that's when that game really just kind of settled, because the drive before that was 9 runs and then all of a sudden busted coverage, touchdown, and now it's 8-7. And you're looking and you're like, oh my God. And by the way, Jason Costco's 49ers ski cap, learn your history. This is the ski cap that Colin Kaepernick used to wear during the playoff runs. Don't get owned by trying to play yourself. The thing is this.
Nothing
That's
wrong with Costco, man.
No, I mean, but this isn't. This is what literally those 49ers teams wore when they went to the NFC Championship and they went to the Super Bowl. So get worked. So the thing is that you saw all of those things, and it just was situationally, and this was the most full complementary football game, right?
Yes.
All three phases.
Yeah.
All three phases. Defense helped out offense. Special teams helped out offense. Offense helped out defense. Everything is literally on display here. The most complete game against a team that you have trouble with on offense. You put up 26 points. A team that, has a great pass rush. Brock is getting away from that. I was really, really impressed with this win because it was the 49ers kind of gaining that physicality and that edge back and kind of letting people know, yeah, man, we're still gonna outplay you and outwork you, and you're gonna have to deal with this. And I think Cleveland was kind of feeling good after that touchdown, and after that field goal from Matt Gay before halftime, that was it. That kind of just like let everybody know, like, yo, we're here, and that's it. We're winning this one.
Yeah, and I feel like that was just the type of performance that they needed to have, especially like going into this bye week as well. Just to kind of prove it that they could do it. Like, not that they weren't favored in this game, because I'm pretty sure that they were, but you do hear the outside noise of what people have to say about Kyle Shanahan's record going up against Jim Schwartz, the weather, the early body clock game. And, I am concerned about all these things as well, right? So I felt like this game could have gone either way, but for the 49ers to just kind of dismantle them like they did. I mean, 26 points is the most points that the Browns have given up at home this season. It's a really good defense, guys. And by the way, Trent Williams, Myles Garrett, like, that's just a matchup that you always love to see. Like,
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Two future Hall of Famers. Like, that's beautiful football right there. And credit to Trent Williams. I know he gave up 4 pressures, and but that's a tough draw. That's what I'm saying. Like, to only give up 1 sack, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna take that all day. Like, I think Trent Williams had a great game, all things considered. But credit to Myles Garrett as well for just being a freaking animal out there. So yeah, we just had to give him one on his way to the record. We just wanted to be a part of history as well. So you're welcome, Myles Garrett.
What's funny is the last time Trent Williams gave up that many pressures was the last time he faced Myles Garrett. And I don't know if you saw after the game, they were mic'd up, and Trent Williams, gives Myles Garrett a dap, and he goes, I don't care if I never see your ass on the field again. Like, and Trent Williams looks at him and he's like, you're the best ever, bro. You're the best ever. I believe that as well, because that inside move that he hit Trent with, like, he set him up on the outside like a crossover, and he literally was like, whoop, and just went right by him. Myles Garrett is, I'm sorry that you really don't like winning, even though you lied to everybody's face. but you are the best I ever seen, bro. Like there's nobody better than you. And he's gonna break that record. But yeah, Trent Williams was fine. I do want to highlight the fact that we figured out the left guard position, and that's just only because Ben Barch
Yeah, I
just
was like,
continues
figured
to get
out,
injured. Yeah, I
forced
mean,
into it.
you know what? I think the 49ers run on the idea of like, hey, let's mess around with this. I think it'll figure itself out. And it does, because Ben Barch eventually would get injured. Liz Frank injury out for the year. By the way, if you bring up Laken Tomlinson, the answer is absolutely, unequivocally no. So I don't want to hear it. But yes, Ben Barch out, Spencer Burford in. What are we thinking? He 21.8 pass blocking grade in that game. But I think he'll be all right.
For Burford? I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
But see, like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, we say it, like, the PFF grade sometimes is just a little wonky. Like, they gave Trent Williams a pretty bad grade too, like 41 or something like that. And it's like, I thought Trent Williams, all things considered, was okay. It doesn't take other contexts into it. I didn't think Spencer Burford looked bad in this game necessarily. So, but yes, Dusty Gold says, how about Sky Moore? Game ball to him and Boyer. I mean, for Sky Moore, kind of setting the 49ers off to I don't want to say hot start, but just the start that they got. I don't know if it would have been that easy for them, at least like in that first quarter, to get going, had it not been for Sky Moore putting them in position, to score that early. And credit to Brant Boyer. It took him a bit, right? It took him a few weeks to get this special teams rolling, but we're seeing the vision now. We're seeing the vision, and it's looking really good. And it from all sides of special teams. It isn't just Sky Moore, it isn't just the coverage unit. It's everything working together. And I think that's a great sign of a good special teams. And I hope that Kyle Shanahan finally sees what a good, not mid, not just good enough, like an actual good special teams unit can do for you, and how it could put you in these positions. Because like my whole gripe with it before was that I was just convinced that Kyle Shanahan was okay with the special teams being okay. And now we're seeing how it's paying off dividends, just having a difference making special teams unit, truly.
Complimentary football everywhere. Everybody did their job in this one, man. Yeah, and shout out to Sky Moore. It always feels like he genuinely has a chance to break one. It really went from early on in the season, like, what are you doing fielding those punts and everything? Finally got comfortable, and here we are. And again, even we talked about it, on kickoff. Sometimes Brian Robinson's giving them a jolt. And that's the formula the 49ers are going to have to use to win games. Is you're going to need a big play from your special teams. You're going to need a big play from your defense. Your offense has to capitalize on those plays as well, too. Josh Dubois, ever the 49er optimist. 3 points on 5 drives that started in their own territory. 23 on 5 drives that started in Browns territory. Who cares? It just sounds to me like the 49ers were the better football team. Like if you're just going to go off of that, then, you can really paint a negative picture, but who cares? Like, so, I mean, I guess if you want to talk about that, fine. But
I don't think it's negative because it's like, who put them in that territory?
Well, it's just kickoffs, right? So, like, if they're back on the 20, like,
turnovers, there's turnovers on downs.
Yeah, I mean, well, the 49ers didn't have any turnovers. That's how you win games as well, too. Like, I don't understand what's the point of bringing up the fact that, like, just because the Browns are a terrible team and they fumble the football a bunch of times that you want to throw, like, a pot shot at the 49ers offense because, if they didn't do all that, you wouldn't have been able to. Well, who cares? That's not how football is played. Like, yeah, like, I don't understand that. It's like those people that are like, if you take away his 79-yard touchdown run, he only ran for 25 yards. That's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. You can't just pick whatever you want. And that's what I'm saying. Like, ever the 49ers optimist, I'm being completely sarcastic when I say that. So, but yeah, look, again, the defense played well. I want to give a shout out to Malik Mustafa. I think that is a guy who has absolutely turned the corner. Last week, Jair Brown. This week, Malik Mustafa. Maybe he's all the way back from the injury and he's all the way, like playing fast and getting downhill. Like, I think the 49ers are starting to get there right now with both their safeties. And that's a big thing. And that's even before we start to get to the defensive line who, shout out to Cleveland Farrell, man. My goodness, man. Where would we be without you? You're working miracles on this defensive line.
They're finding their stride. Like, it just feels like the entire defense is finding its stride. You mentioned the safeties. We've definitely seen that. And I think the defensive line is starting to come together too, with a couple guys coming back, after the bye week. You mentioned YGM earlier. There's another guy too, right? They should be also getting back Robert Beal Jr. I mean, just to have guys as part of the rotation, and being able to keep these guys fresh, I think is only going to help the effectiveness of a Clinton Farrell, of a Keon White, of a Bryce Huff, so that when they are out there, Samo, yeah. So when they are out there, they're the best versions of themselves they could be, and they're fresh, right? So that's when this defensive line, I think, is really going to be able to get cooking. But I appreciate too that it isn't all just pass rush contributions from some of those guys, like Keon White, like the run stops that he had, like you're seeing that as well. So these guys are doing exactly what they were brought in here to do, and they didn't cost the 49ers very much in order to do it, right? And Clinton Farrell, they didn't have to give up any draft capital for him at all, right? And you've seen what he do, 4 sacks in 4 games. I mean, that's pretty good return on investment, and it was barely an investment, right? So I think we were a little upset, or maybe I was upset. I wasn't upset about the trade deadline thing. It was just that I was bored. That's it. But now I'm excited again. Consider me entertained.
Yeah, and I think the sum of the parts. You have 4 more games, 5 weeks. With this bye week, you hopefully add some people back, and you hope that the growth continues with Collins, and you're just gonna have to make do with what you have. And if guys can get this week off, that's it, 4 straight. And you have a chance to get into this playoff run hot. I did want to give a shout out to D Winters as well too. He actually had a really good game if you check PFF as well too. Coverage wise, I think he was only dinged for about 2 catches. That's good to see. I do want to say this. Either Tatum Batoon or Eric Kendricks out of the bye at middle linebacker. I can't take Curtis Robinson anymore.
Yeah,
like
no.
it's a great story, but he can't tackle. And I don't know what it is. He could have a guy right in front of him, and he's gonna whiff. It's a great story, and this is what happens when you get down to your 3rd string, 4th string Mike linebacker.
Yeah.
But I never thought that I'd be clamoring to, or that I have a time where I'd be like, damn it, I hope Tatum Batoon or Eric Kendricks is there. But they need help at middle linebacker, and they need one of those guys to come back. They can't just keep rolling out Curtis Robinson, especially given the fact that if he's out there for that Indianapolis game, Jonathan Taylor's gonna run for 350 yards. I just you got to get somebody else in there, please.
Yeah, and I think the move to bring in Eric Kendricks, while yes, it's nice to have depth, but I think it's nice to have depth because you have other options if you find out that 3rd string guy is maybe not it, right? So I think the 49ers did it with that in mind. They probably did kind of see that and said, let's bring another linebacker in just in case, because we don't want to be in that position again. But I mean, Jay, you mentioned the games that the 49ers have coming up. There's a lot of big ones, as there are for other teams in the NFC picture as well. Obviously coming off the bye, you got the game against the Titans, a game that I would expect the 49ers very much expected to win. But the last 3 games just feel very huge. And it also makes it amplifies the fact that the last 3 games the 49ers just played, that they just won, how huge those were. Yeah. So because they put themselves in position to basically, what is it, like 90% or so for their playoff chances?
Mm-hmm.
So thanks to them winning these 3 games. But you got in week 16, you got the Colts in Indy, and then you got the Bears at home, Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a good one. I want to go to that game. And then week 18 against Seattle. So some really important games. I mean, obviously, at this point, we're mostly looking at seeding and where the 49ers end up. There is a chance, and, it's an outside chance, but there is a chance, you're telling me there's a chance that the 49ers could become the number 1 seed in the NFC. Like, that is possible.
They could. And look, all right. here's what you have to hope, right? And this is, what we're going to do is we're going to do, rooting guide. You hope that Arizona, puts up one of those weird, funky NFC West games against the Rams and kind of keeps it close, and maybe some weird stuff happens, and, Jacoby Brissett can lead them to a win there. There's not a shot in hell that Atlanta's going to beat Seattle. They just lost to the New York Jets, for God's sake. Sam Darnold's rounding into playoff form. I'll give him that, but that defense is still there. That's going to be lights out right there. But the Green Bay and Chicago game is huge because one of those teams has to lose, right? Although Green Bay tied this year, so maybe I should hold that one back. But that should definitely help. That's the thing that really has the 49ers in good position, is the 49ers have Green Bay and Chicago. They're going to beat up on each other. They have to play each other twice. If they split, if one wins two, whatever, those are losses for those guys. So the 49ers have Indianapolis and, Chicago and Seattle to end, but Tennessee next week out of the bye, that's a game that they absolutely should win. I don't want to hear anything about trap game or anything like that. There's no such thing in the NFL. And I can overlook the Tennessee Titans. The 49ers just can't. So they could probably win that game as well, too. Indianapolis isn't playing as well. I don't know if you noticed that Daniel Jones has a fractured fibula. Not sure how he's playing on that, but hey, give it a go and keep going. That team has significantly cooled down. By the way, Sauce Gardner is going to miss that game with a calf injury as well, too. So they're down a bunch of people. And then the Chicago game, Chicago's the one team that I really have a tough time with because I want to give them credit for doing something that the Chicago Bears haven't done in a long time, which is just win games, even if they're games they're supposed to win. But they don't impress me. In particular, Caleb Williams doesn't impress me because they're running the football at such a high level, but he is missing throws. Trust me, as a Rome Odunze fantasy manager, trust me, Caleb Williams is not throwing the football as well as he should be. And if the 49ers can knock off at least a little bit of that run and make him throw the football in structure, they have a shot in that game as well, too. The Seattle game is kind of where you're just like, I think that game's going to come down to either the 49ers win the division or they just go to like the 7th seed. I think, like it's one of those games. I don't think it's going to be a in or win type thing like with the 49ers. I definitely think the 49ers will have something sewn up by then. It could be a spot, that they can move up, but it will have playoff ramifications. But you want to make sure that you win as many games as possible before that so you can avoid that scenario with Seattle. But the good news is that Chicago is going to beat up on Green Bay. Green Bay is going to beat up on them. I'm just not as sold as the on the Bears, man. I'm really not. And if you're like, hey, they just beat the Eagles, have we even considered if the Eagles are good? Seriously, seriously. Like, can we even consider if them good? So who would draft Rome Odunze? He was wide receiver 6 through the first 7 weeks. Do you play fantasy football, Sean, or do you just yak? So they have slowed down considerably throwing the football. Like if you're just watching those games, Caleb is just not throwing the football very well in this in that system. They're winning running the football. Is Philly good? Is Green Bay good? The Rams just lost to the Panthers. Haha. This is what everybody was saying about how, and this is a great stat right here. Caleb Williams has the lowest completion percentage, 58.1 in the NFL, despite throwing into tight windows at the lowest rate, 10.6. Guys are wide open. It's on the tape. Trust me. I'm trying to figure out why Rome Odunze only has 2 catches for 26 yards and 10 targets. It's because he's wide open, and this guy's just not throwing it to him. Williams has thrown the open targets at 4th highest rate and wide open targets at the 3rd highest rate. That's bad. That's bad. So, again, you're watching them rip off wins. They beat the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy started that game. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Do we even know that they're good? Now they're going to play Green Bay. Those are, you're looking around the NFC and you're looking around the NFL, and I think I don't know if you guys stayed up last night to watch the game, and God help you if you didn't, because you weren't missing anything watching the Patriots and the Giants. The Giants were going to have more concussions than points by the end of that game, the way they were playing. But Damian Woody, or it was somebody else. It was one of those guys that's on that show. I think it was Damian Woody. Oh, no, it was Marcus Spears, who said that any given Sunday applies more in this season than it ever has applied ever. And there is no dominant team. Anyone can lose any single day. And I think that's why a lot of people were upset about the trade deadline. It is as wide open as it's ever been because teams that were dominant early aren't. Teams that were scuffling now are. This has been one of the most hard to call football seasons in a long time.
I think especially in the NFC, there's just no top dog, and you've seen glimpses of it. Certainly the Rams have been good. The Seahawks have been good. But you just pointed out the Rams just lost to the Panthers, so it's like anyone could lose a game, and that sets up well for the 49ers, that they are controlling the controllables right now, because we're getting into the territory where there are many factors into how things are going to end up with the seeding. But they're doing their part, and that's all we can ask for. And no matter what, I think that's going to put them in a pretty good position going into the playoffs.
For sure. Rob, what do you have for stock up, stock down, if you have any, instead of fact or fiction? We wanted to switch it up. We have a little bit more time. By the way, shout out to everybody that's watching here on a Tuesday night. Hope you're doing well. It's really cold on the East Coast, man. I can't take this anymore, man.
We're all bundled. It's
December 2nd. It's December 2nd, and it's already in the 20s. Like, I'm tired of this already, man. Like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I guess Rob doesn't have any. I mean, he'll come up with some. But realistically, the 49ers are in the driver's seat for an NFC playoff spot. All they have to do, and they built that on the conference wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they only lost to the Rams, right? What are the other losses? And Tampa Bay, right? So those are your two NFC losses. And then you have the what are the other two losses that we have this season? Good God, we should know off the top of the Jags. That's AFC.
Texans
and Texans. Yeah. So AFC. Two in the NFC, but all the rest of their wins are basically NFC games. So that's the advantage they have. And the 49ers have only lost one game in their division. Just one. So, like they have the tiebreakers as far as it goes when it comes to if it does end up jumbled like that. Just got to hope that the Rams keep stumbling. I just hope that Arizona can find a way to, make that game weird. Just make it weird. Right? Like look, nobody gave the Panthers a shot. I certainly would have, in that game. It's funny how all of this stuff plays out, right? Like, the offense looks absolutely inept. All of a sudden, bang, 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 they're down the field, throwing it all over the Rams. By the way, the Rams corners are pretty bad. That's where you want to attack them. So that's when this is when I knew it was bad for the Rams. Ahkello Witherspoon's back, man. Here we go. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all are serious. Like, this is not a troll. Like, you're happy he's back, right? Like you wanted him back. Vinny says, what a time to be alive as a 49ers fan, week to week league. Also, there's no transitive property in the NFL. Have to play the game. Yep. So look, Arizona could, pull off something. I just don't think Atlanta will. I don't think much of them. I think that Ray McLeod's out there still sneak this in his coach. Which I don't know what that has to do with anything. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them either. But yeah, are we hopeful like that this team with the additions, like they're getting their kicker back? By the way, Matt Gay, you did good, man. Appreciate you, man. You did fine. You did your job
for Matt Gay.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Kicker update.
That's like that's like getting rickrolled.
I saw someone put it in the comment earlier, and so I'm going to kind of just mention it here. Shout out to whoever put it in the comment. But the 49ers haven't missed a field goal since week 1 when it was Jake Luton. This guy.
Stop saying the K word.
Is that like that what it is? Like, is that the trigger?
I think it's that. And also,
the K.
that guy is still... That guy is still he who shall not be named. I still don't or I called him the dork kicker because we could have
kicker.
Yeah, the dork kicker, because if he makes the kick in Cleveland, we don't hear anything about bad weather Brock and Jim Schwartz and the Cleveland drought. Like, so much is his fault. Like it's really cold out. It's his fault as well too. Like we have to start making sure that we associate blame. But yeah, it was kind of cool to see the Sunday night game. It was the former 49er Bowl. Did you notice that? Mike McGlinchey, Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw,
there were a lot of them.
Deebo Samuel, that guy, the other kicker,
that guy,
Javon Kinlaw.
I knew that there are a lot of former 49ers on the Broncos, but it didn't the thought hadn't occurred to me that yes, also on the Commanders, obviously. That's just where they go.
Well, you know,
That's where they end.
Adam Peters is just like, hey, if you played for the 49ers, I'd love to have you. You know, he wants to get Drake Jackson on the field as well too. So, you know, such a great general manager. I don't know how the 49ers could have ever let him go, man. He really knows how to build it over there. I'll never let that one go, because whoever was working the media for Adam Peters to bamboozle everybody into them thinking that he was the only one who did well is ridiculous, because now we know who wanted Javon Kinlaw. Now we know who wanted Drake Jackson. So yeah, Adam Peters, you're not good at your job, gang. You have the oldest roster in the league. You know, you got the one pick right with Jaden Daniels, but you drafted poorly. Ben Sinnott doesn't do anything. Sanistril is whatever. You know, you didn't draft well. You're not some genius, and I want to make sure that we put that out there. So, yeah. So I guess that's it, Steph. You know, I had a good time on this show as well too. I think I'm just gonna get under the covers because it's legit like 19 degrees out here. Like,
are we going into our bye week? Like,
well, what are the bye week vibes?
I plan a vacation in the 49ers bye week. I'm going to Disneyland.
Hell yeah. Which one? Oh wait, so which one? So which is Disneyland? Which is Disney World? I always get confused with that.
I literally saw a meme about this, that like if you look at the LA is in Disneyland and ORL is in Disney World. That's how you remember.
Got it. Okay. All right, so you're going to LA.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you get to make fun of them, you know, the Rams fans, or all 5 of the Rams fans that are out there?
I mean, I'm definitely going to wear some 49ers drip while I'm out there, just because.
Well, the thing is, everybody else is going to be wearing 49ers gear because nobody wears Rams gear out there, you know? Like, what?
This is true.
Like, you know, I had one of my friends say he was in LA, and he's like, dude, he goes, I thought there was Rams. The Rams were out here. He was like, it's all 49ers gear. I was like, yeah, you know, here's the secret. There's not Rams fans. There's like 7 of them.
True. Which means that I'm probably going to get a bang bang at some point.
I have. Did we talk about?
That's controversial.
Did we talk about this? Did we talk about this? Oh,
not on the podcast. No.
Oh, we didn't. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we got a few minutes. I despise Bang Bang Niner Gang. Despise it. Don't. If you see me in the street, don't yell that. Don't.
Do you just pretend you didn't hear it? Do you just not respond?
Nah.
You have to respond. You know.
No. When we were walking through the parking lot, you know, people were saying it, and I was just like, oh, what's the yeah. I despise it. It's cringeworthy. Come on, guys.
It is. But like, what other calling could we have?
Go Niners. Go Niners. That's it. Like, come on. And I just go Niners. What's wrong with, hey, go Niners. Let's go Niners.
He's a hoe, and I want that known. Like,
oh,
I see, like,
here we go. So that clip right there is Shelby Harris from the Cleveland Browns. So this is good. We should talk about this. Shelby Harris is upset with Juwan Jennings. And, you know, thanks to my investigative journalism, low-key Pablo Torre-esque, I figured out what was said. And if you guys didn't see, it was out on Twitter, you know, but I figured out what was said. And I understand why he's mad, because if somebody would have said that to me, I'd be very upset.
What did he say, Jay?
Well, so this is the direct quote from Juwan Jennings to Shelby Harris is, I will smash your face into a car window and then take your mother Dorothy Harris to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again. And that was it. Like that and he just lost it. And that's why he called Juwan Jennings a hoe. You know what's funny? Football has had a lot of hoe callings, right? Wasn't that one guy that called Lane Kiffin a hoe? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see that? Okay, so Lane Kiffin just left Ole Miss. Here it is, right here on the spot. Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss for LSU, and a podcaster, and I guess he's credentialed, he quoted a Project Pat song in which Project Pat says, can't turn a H word into a housewife, H words don't act right. Meaning, he was going to bounce around regardless and go to LSU. So that's been thrown around all over, you know, the football lexicon. And Shelby Harris is upset, man. But what is Juwan Jennings doing to these guys that is making them so upset? Like he said, he got punched in the balls. He should be punched in the jaw. Like, what did Juwan Jennings say?
I don't know, but this isn't the first time that he's pissed someone off on the field. Usually, like, we see it because of a really good block that Jawan Jennings has, and he pancakes somebody, and then, they don't like that too much. But now I wonder if there's maybe just some other underlying things happening in between plays that also attributes to that. So it's just like getting guys riled up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of like trash talk that happens on the field, especially like certain players like that. They just love that. I'm honestly surprised. And by the way, like that tweet was a joke.
It's clearly a joke. It's an Anchorman quote.
I feel like not everyone understands that, and that's funny. But I mean, Jay, you're a source. You got sources,
dude. Someone took that tweet and was like, Jason Aponte reports this is what's said. I was cackling. I'm like, yo, no way. This guy thinks that a quote from Anchorman is what Jawan Jennings said to this dude, and he's dead ass serious.
Yeah, and people in the replies probably thought it was serious too.
Oh yeah, people in there were just like, you don't have any sources, and I just wanted to be like, I want to grab people by their ears, and I'd be like, you can't be this stupid. Like, please, I had faith in humanity, but you cannot be this stupid. It's clearly a quote from Anchorman. Like, my goodness. Someone even asked Grok. They were like, what's the joke? And they go, it's an Anchorman reference. And I was like, Jesus, man. Like, oh, my God.
And this is why AI is taking your jobs.
Yeah, look, I will smash your face into a car windshield and take your mother, Dorothy Mantu, to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again. Like, that's obvious. Man, humor's lost. Like, humor is completely lost. Like, you can't have an ounce of fun at all on Twitter. Everything has to be dead ass serious. Don't make any jokes about it. I don't know what the hell Jawan Jennings said. And I did see a comment that it says Jawan Jennings is like Draymond Green for sure. But he's one of those guys that you love if he's on your team and hate to face. Right? Like Dennis Rodman type, like if you know what, he's under your skin.
That
cool.
Bad though?
I don't know what he said.
That bad.
I don't know what he said. The reporter who had that quote and got it from him said that the people around the locker room were saying that he was talking about women and children. I don't know if that's what was said, but whatever. My God, like, come on, man, it's football. You guys are all supposed to be psychos. Seriously, like, you have to be unhinged to play NFL football. Seriously.
The only thing on the field, like, I would never condone is spitting on someone, because that's like the lowest form of
that's fair.
Disrespect, in my opinion.
That's fair.
And there's been plenty of that this season. Like, to your earlier point, this has just been a crazy season for like trash talk and
yeah,
that's
fair.
Getting at each other.
Look, that's fair. Don't spit on me, whatever, but say whatever you want. And if it's gonna get you off your game, then you gotta get stronger up here.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah, dude, we've all played sports at some level. Whether it's pick up basketball, pick up whatever, right? Or if you played competitive team sports, like I played baseball and basketball in high school. If you allow that to get into your head and wreck your game, that's your fault. You just got to let that person yak, 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 yak. And it's always the one that is the most silent and calm, the one that you need to be afraid of. They're the assassins, so. Oh, man, check well, he said that Harris said that he understands why he got punched there, but he should be punched in the jaw. Like, but I don't know. What did he say to Trevon Moehrig? Like, Trevon Moehrig just said that, like, that he's just disrespectful.
The world will never know. I think it's crazy too that they're not actually sharing it, because I feel like other times you do actually hear what players say. Like, if it was that bad.
Like, you don't watch the Giants Patriots game last night, right?
I saw glimpses of it. I was off for dinner. Yeah.
Christian Barrymore, he's yelling at the Giants, 17-0, you F boy, fight back. Like, you could hear him on the mic. Like, he's screaming this. Like, but that seems on par with like what they would say. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't like. Again, man, you have to be unhinged to play football. Like, you George Kittle said today that every single game is like 4 car crashes on his body, and he doesn't start to feel right again until like Thursday, Friday. Yeah, you got to be a nut job to want to play football. Yeah, like you definitely have to have screws loose a little bit, you know. So not me though.
Not you? Oh.
My back hurts right now, and I just got out of bed wrong. Like, what the hell? You kidding me? I'm not doing all that. All right. I guess that'll do it for this episode of the Bully Ball Podcast on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio podcasts. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Steph has a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. Subscribe to those as well too. Follow Steph on Twitter at Steph49K. Follow me on Twitter at JasonAponte2103. Steph, the bye week is here. Thank God, man. We get to chill out. Not me though. I have to watch JJ McCarthy play football again in a few days. So, you know, it's
My
honest work.
condolences.
Yeah, no, it's honest work. By the way, Brandon Aiyuk and Mac Jones for Justin Jefferson. Get it done. Kevin O'Connell, you know you want Mac Jones. So for Steph, for Jay, we're out of here.
Peace.